Jambo mtazamaji wetu wa DGTV, karibu katika kipindi cha Jamvi la Lugha. Kipindi hiki kinakujia kila siku ya Jumamosi na hasa tunaangazia wale wanafunzi ambao kwa sasa wako shule za upili, yule ambaye anapenda Kiswahili.
Kinakueleza, kinakuelimisha na kukumbusha zaidi kuhusu lugha ya Kiswahili.
Ila inamaanisha kuna maana tofauti za neno ila. Ila inamaanisha tashihisi, kuvipa viumbe
Good morning, how are you? Thank you so much for joining us today on another beautiful episode of Harmonious Family with me, Alice Wanjera Mwangi, and of course I am with James Gitonga, who is our very own bishop, and of course he's a family coach and he's a man of many titles. Actually, he's also an author of a book known as Harmony. You can see it right there. So today we have an amazing episode for you. We're talking about effects of alcohol in our family. So in case you have any question pertaining that topic, please send them in on our social media handles. It is at DGTV Kenya on Facebook and of course Instagram. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you so much, Bishop, for joining us once more.
Thank you so much. I'm always delighted to be with you and just to share the love of Christ with the community.
Yes. So you've had the topic today. We're talking about the effects of alcohol in a family. So what would you say about that, even before we get into some of the effects? What are some of the dangers of indulging in alcohol abuse?
Alcohol is not a bad thing.
Okay.
If it is used in a manner that it deserves. Even the scripture says that you can take alcohol for your good health. And you know, some of the drugs that we use, alcohol is used in manufacturing of some of the drugs that we use as human beings doing some treatment of our body. And even in restaurants, these big hotels, some meals, we are told that alcohol is one of the ingredients that is used to make food and what we consume. So used in the right manner, used with the intended purpose, I may not want to say that is a bad thing. But when it's used in an appropriate manner, without what is made for, or used in excess of what is required. Now the word abuse comes in. What we are seeing that this kind of drink or this kind of substance, it's being taken out of what is prescribed for. You know, even normal medicine, they are drugs. And those medicines are used to do treatment of our body. So when that drug is used outside the description from the doctor, then it becomes abuse, and it has effect. Drinks, if it's used beyond what's supposed to be described for, it becomes an abuse. It has effect. So anything that has a negative connotations, once it is used beyond beyond what is supposed to be the bracket of using it, then it becomes an abuse. And when something is abused, no matter how it looks like, even if it was a good thing, it has negative effect in our body, in our lifestyles. There is some that may not go in the right manner. So we can say that is an abuse of that substance. Yes.
All right, so let's get now dig deep into some of the effects of alcohol now when someone abuses them, especially when they're in a family zone. So one of them is neglect of important duties in a family. So you find out that alcohol has a way that impairs cognitive functions of someone, or even the physical capabilities, and that results to neglect of responsibilities in a family. So how does alcohol abuse contribute to neglect of important duties in a family?
Yes. As I said in the beginning, alcohol, when it's misused, we say it's an abuse. And when something is abused, has negative implication to what is being used for. So when you use alcohol and it's used inappropriate, our body is affected. And sometimes it's affected in a negative way. It means that that body is unable to respond to normal functions. That body is unable to function normally. So if it's the mental capability is not up to the required standard to be able to reason and reciprocate or function towards the responsibility that are before you in a manner you deserve. It also means that the body itself is unable to function, to coordinate itself, to be able to respond to appropriate functioning. The locomotive of the body is impaired because some substances that are within the body are not helping the body to function or to reciprocate in a manner that is supposed to reciprocate. So that you can say the body is not functioning well. And it means if you're not able to communicate to your responsibility as you're supposed to do, then there will be mismatch and there will be a problem. So there is a lot of negative implication that comes out of misuse of drugs. We see that that body is unable to function normally again. If you're supposed to be able to wake up on time to go to work, you are not able to wake up on time and prepare yourself to go to work. You see that if your body is supposed to coordinate a few things to be able to function normally, you are unable to function. Your locomotive is impaired. You are not able to do the right things. You're not able to. So basically, we are saying you're not functioning.
Yeah, sure.
So when you don't function, a lot will go unplanned. They will go the other way around. We are saying that you are not able to do things that you are supposed to do, and those are effects that at the end of it all, they destroy your lifestyle, they destroy your family, they destroy you as a person. You won't be able to work, you won't be able to manage your time, you won't be able to manage your finances, you won't be able to manage your social life, you won't be able to manage anything that requires normal skills to be able to function normally. Yeah, sure. So you are not able to become useful to the environment that you are in.
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
So let's talk about the impacts of alcohol abuse, especially for the children at home.
Yes.
So you find out, according to statistics, that children who reside with parents who are consuming alcohol have emotional trauma compared to children who are raised by sober parents. So how does alcohol abuse contribute to
the upbringing of the family of the children? Yes. You know, we are saying that alcohol has effect in emotions. And these emotions is both the user and the surrounding members of the family around him. They are all affected. Once your emotions are being affected in a negative way, the probability of you transferring that emotional abuse to surrounding persons around you is very high. Yeah. And in return, it also affects the children. And there is a negative response to that issue. So families where alcohol is misused, the parent will injure between themselves emotionally. And in return, the children will also be affected emotionally because of the environment they live in. So it has a negative effect. And once emotionally spouses have been affected and the children have been affected, that environment is unconducive for bringing the family or even staying within that circle. It becomes a space that is not healthy to be with, to be around. And alcohol plays a great role to bring a disaster to an environment where the family occupies. Yes.
Yes, and I also heard that, especially for females or the daughters who are born by a father who abuses alcohol, when they grow up, they don't even want to get married because they fear that whoever they're going to marry is going to also be like their father who abuses alcohol and, of course, abuses, the mother. So how does that result to lack of marriage to the children who are brought up by parents who abuse alcohol?
What you're saying, that alcohol has negative traits that later manifest in the upbringing of the children who has been brought up within that environment. You know, the environment where alcohol is abused is misused. There's a lot of abuse. There is a lot of dysfunctioning of different areas of matters concerning the family. There's a dysfunctioning in terms of communication. There's dysfunctioning in terms of financial management. There's dysfunctioning when it comes to communication. There's dysfunctioning in how we model our lifestyle. And you know, home is where children learn. It's a school that every family provides for the children, because that's where you learn social aspects of family. You learn the love language. You learn appreciation. You learn you learn all the things that comes with love. You learn roles and responsibilities. You learn all kind of reciprocations that makes a human being being formed both mentally, physically, and spiritually. All those three aspects that makes you complete, they are all manufactured within yourself in the family setup. So basically, when the abuse of drugs is taking place in that environment, those training that young children acquire are not provided in a manner that is good. And for different gender will take it because they will be learning from them, learning from that environment, learning from all kind of reciprocations of matters. So how they respond to it in the days to come will be as a result of their upbringing. What you are seeing that if there's dysfunctioning within the setup, family setup, even when those children become of age, they will not want to be associated with those kind of mismatch in their own lives. So basically, kids will be affected. They will be affected in terms of when it comes to marriage. They will be affected when it comes to choosing a spouse. They will be affected in terms of their social life. They will be affected even academically, even when it comes to pursuing career and all that kind of things, because the conduciveness of the environment was not conducive for them to be made to fullness of what God had made them to be.
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
But there are some parents who would argue and say that, me, I just tell my kids you're not supposed to consume alcohol, but them themselves, they come home, drunk. But there's a saying that says, don't tell me, show me, So does that work?
You see, we are saying that life is about modeling.
Okay.
The biggest percentage of how we become is not what we are told. It's what we see. Is what is being modeled to us. we shape our lives based on what is being modeled. So if your father is a drunkard or your mother is a drunkard, or the environment has an abusive connotation, it is modeling you the kind of a family you end up having. So the probability of that repeat happening again in those children's life and family, it's so high, because the best they know is what was modeled in their young years of maturity. To them, maybe love was fight, communication was argument, reconciliation was where force is used. So they have learned to reconcile with force. They have learned to communicate in a shouting match. They have learned to solve their issues physically, because that's what they saw, and that's what they have been modeled. So when negative modeling takes place, the chances of that negative modeling being reciprocated again into these children who have learned who have been brought up with that environment, the chances of it repeating again is very high. Yes. So the effects can be seen in these children's in the later days of their lives.
Okay. And also there is this misconception. For example, if I come from a family where my father is a pastor, now my kid will also be a pastor. So there's some people who say if your father was a drunkard, then you're also going to bear children who are drunkard. And does that really work?
You know, I don't want to say it must be like that.
Okay.
There's what we call individualism. It's about an individual. You know, we know children who have come from very abusive families, but they made a choice. I don't want to live in this kind of environment when they become of age. And they have made a purpose. And they have changed. There are children who came from that environment. And they have reciprocated the same environment into their own lives. You get the point? So it's a choice. It's a choice. It's a personal choice. I don't want to make it that it must be like, it's a choice. The same way you have said that it doesn't mean because I'm a pastor, my children become pastors.
Yeah.
It's not a must. It doesn't mean that because I'm a drunkard, my children will become drunkard. It's not a must. But the high chances of what has taken place being repeated, it's very high. Because that is what it has been modeled into those young people's life. But there's a what we call choice in life. You can decide to demarcate yourself from the past. And once you do it, it must become from the inner heart. And it must be supported by affirmation. And once that is done, then you can say, I want to transform. And it is possible to transform. But the chances of environment affecting you, it's very high, because that's the modeling that has taken place, and that's what someone has learned and matured in that kind of status.
All right, so it is all about choices. It's not
all about choices.
Yeah, the family line or something, what people say. So I think you're going to take a very short commercial break, but here we are just learning some of the effects that are there due to alcohol consumption. I hope you're getting to learn 1 or 2, 3 things. So in case you have any question, drop them in on our social media handles. It is at DGTV Kenya on Facebook and on Instagram, and of course we are there on YouTube. Before we go for a short commercial break, maybe Bishop, you can tell us a little bit more about Harmony book. I know you're the author, and it's so interesting. By the way, I have checked it. So tell us a little more about Harmony. This
Harmony, it's about harmony. What is harmony? That's what each one of us desires to have in life. And it's a place of peace. How can I have peace in my relationships? How can I have peace in my marriage? How can I have peace in my family? In other words, how can I enjoy my relationships with my partner, with my friends? How can I enjoy my marriage life? How can I enjoy my family life? So it's a book designed to give us tools to enable us understand self first. Understand yourself in terms of temperaments. Understand yourself, your strengths and weakness, and then be able to understand the other party, their strengths and weakness, and to come to a point of appreciating the uniqueness of each person.
Yeah.
And once that uniqueness is appreciated, then the harmony comes in. You are able to live with that person because you are able to appreciate his strengths and able to appreciate his weak points. And in general, what we are saying that what might be the weakness of the other side, it should be your strength. And what is your strength? You'll be so surprised that what the other person's strength is, you'll be so surprised that is your weakness. So generally, we complement each other. So basically, it goes with that surrounding to bring the uniqueness of each person's and and we learn to appreciate each other so that we can have the harmony in all aspects of relationship, marriage, and family.
Yes, and that's why we are here at Harmonious Family. It's all about harmony. All right, so a very short commercial break. We'll be right back. Remember to keep it at DGTV.
Are you a parent or a guardian looking for a kind of foundation that you need for your child? Located in Nairobi, Dagoretti along Gong Road, Black Presbyterian Primary School offers computer studies, arts and design, extra curriculum skill, as well as indoor games. With a qualified, friendly and dedicated staff, Black Best offers ideal and conducive learning environment for your child. We provide safe and reliable transport to our pupils. For more information, call us today on 0720-844-083 or you can visit our website www.blackbest.com.
She shall by the she-show.
Welcome back to Harmonious Family. Remember, I am your host, Alice Wanjira Mwangi, and of course, I am joined by our very own Bishop James Peter Gitonga. He is a family coach and of course also a psychologist, right? All right, so we are talking about effects of alcohol in a family, and so we want to go now to financial stability in a family. You know, when you abuse alcohol, at the end of the day, your finances are going to be affected. So
very true.
Yeah. So how does consumption of alcohol contribute to financial stability in a family?
You know, an habit, you are told, becomes your second nature.
Yeah.
So an habit becomes your second nature. It means once you have been consumed in the habit of abusing drugs, you must sustain the acquired nature. You must sustain the acquired nature. So to sustain that acquired nature, it has a cost in it. So it means that you must have resources to keep that nature being part of you. And that's not the abuse. And when you keep doing it, it consumes, because to sustain that lifestyle, it has become your nature.
Yeah.
It has become now part of your new lifestyle. And it must be consistent, maintained, and kept. And it is expensive. It will consume resources. So one of the things it does, it takes away the resources from your family, first from you, and secondly, from the family, to sustain and to keep that new lifestyle. It also means that the money that was supposed to go to other important use, to make the family or self a better person, it's all being consumed, not to do what it was supposed to be doing, but it's all consumed to keep and to maintain the new acquired lifestyle. So the funds are now misdirected from the normal to now the abnormal usage. And it has a big consequence in the family. The family will be affected because the demands of the family are not being met. For instance, if you're supposed to pay rent, it's not being paid. You're supposed to buy foods, the food are not being bought. You're supposed to pay school fees, the school fees is not being paid on time. If you're supposed to do some investments, those investments are not being honored. So there is some now dysfunctioning. There's some areas which are not being taken care. And that it will going to affect your relationships in the marriage. And of course your marriage will be affected. So it consumes, it takes away. The other thing is that the user who is doing abuse of the drugs, what you are saying that the user, that body, after some times, because it's the one now getting the punches of the abuse, it's going to be weak. And it comes to a level where it cannot be able to function anymore. Now, even the body itself is unable to produce, is unable to reciprocate, to function, is unable to create the money to keep the lifestyle.
For the family.
The family, even the lifestyle of abusing the drugs is unable. So that's another effect, because that body becomes sick. It now require medication, hospitalization. That body cannot even be able to coordinate itself. It means now it can't work. So if you are an employee or you are a business, you can't be able to honor the obligations of the business or the employment, and then you end up losing the employment or losing the business. So it's affecting you. So abuse has never had a positive in it. And once the one who is consuming alcohol is unable to produce resources to keep it, is that the body is unable to function, then the finances or the source of income is affected. And if it's affected, to sustain the family, to meet the demands of the family are not honored, then that's a big and a huge disaster to that family. Yes.
All right, so let's talk about health issues. Yes. You know, when you consume alcohol, your senses somehow get disrupted, and you might make, judgments that are not even there. So, for example, you're going to a club, you find this beautiful woman, you go with her, do whatever people do out there. And then at the end of the day, you find out that you are HIV positive or something. And when you go back at home, now you transmit that to your partner. So how does that really affect the family in terms of health?
As you have said, abuse has no positive end to it.
Yeah.
There's nothing beautiful to show.
Yeah, sure.
And we have seen that it will affect you in a negative manner.
Yeah.
And you acquire a new lifestyle. So when you acquire a new lifestyle, it means even some values that you add, those values, they are questioned. And once you start questioning those values, and some are moral values, once they have been questioned, then they have no purpose or they have no respect again. So the boundaries that a normal human being is supposed to have, those boundaries even they become loose. And when the boundaries are loose now, everything goes. That's why we are saying this person has no boundaries. Maybe he began to say that I'm having fun, so I can take 2 bottles. And you'd say, take 2 bottles and go home. Today, that boundary has been broken. You can take a whole crate. You see now, you are saying you had boundaries and values. I can go for entertainment up to certain hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, and I'm going back home. Those boundaries has been broken. You are saying now you can go all the night until morning, because now there are no boundaries, there are no values, because you can't keep the drugs lifestyle and keep the boundaries and keep the values. Those 2 things cannot go together. One must be able to be defeated, and one must give way to the other. So, and in most areas, the usage of drugs would be the dominant factor in those matters. And now it allows you to find yourself now in this new lifestyle, this new nature that you have acquired. It means now, even in terms of relationships and intimacy, the boundaries have been broken. So any persons that comes your way is a potential person to enjoy your intimacy with. Because the issue of boundaries is no.
And that's where infidelity now
comes in. Yes. Because once the boundary has been taken away, in that influence, a lot takes place. That even those that says, I just, nowadays with the kind of lifestyles we live in, where you don't need to carry physical money. So you go to the club, you say, I'm taking only 1 bottle, and before long, you are sweeping the card. And some of these cards, we have what we call credit cards. You can even consume more than what you yourself can sustain or you can buy, so you can take it in credit. And now with that kind of a lifestyle, and having now a person without boundaries, so everything goes. So at the end of it all, your marriage will be affected, because the possibility of bringing sickness in the family is huge. It's big. And of course, you can see once HIV or those other sickness, viral disease that gets to your family, the issue of no trust, the issue of honest, the issue of love and intimacy is a big issue now. So what we are seeing now, these products now has introduced another factor in the family. And where there was supposed to be oneness, it's no more. The spouses now have questionable character that has risen up. And that's how, before long, those families are destroyed. Those marriages are in limbo. Yes.
All right. So we cannot forget to talk about the physical or domestic violence in the family due to consumption of alcohol. So how does that contribute to, marital conflicts in a family?
As we say in the beginning, conflict management. It's a big issue. There are persons who are not able to resolve marital conflicts when they are sober. And especially in this generation, where there are a lot of challenges that come to the family and with the marriage. It can be social, it can be economic, because there are all many factors. So there are individuals who are not able to sit and resonate together in a manner without being influenced by any substance. So there are persons who get their strength by taking alcohol. So that once they have taken the alcohol, then they get some certain energy. And they say that now the fear, you remove the fear, unapata, what they call it, unapata some strength to confront. And well, in the beginning, or where in that person's mind, it may sound as the best thing to do. If it's not well managed, it births to conflict, and it births physical confrontation, where now they're sorting out of their issues, trying to solve their personal issues, tends to become physical. So now the drugs that you have taken are giving you an extra mind energy, and that energy is being transmitted in a negative way in terms of physical. So you can't sit and discuss something in a sober mind. You end up now using force. And when you use force, you end up injuring each other and hurting each other. In fact, when you listen to some of those people once they come back to their senses, they are shocked of what happened, to the extent of the damage they have caused. Some even go to a mode of regret. But the damage has taken place, and sometimes it's fatal. So drugs, what you are saying, that if they are misused, the users are not able to resolve conflict in an harmonious way, in a manner that is mature enough to sit and discuss and find solutions. It will always end up one of them using force because of miscommunication, because of misunderstanding, and because of the way they are responding to each other. Conflict is bound to happen, and it sometimes ends up being fatal. Yes.
So what are some of now, after all these effects, how does this contribute now to divorce in marriages? Because there have been a lot of cases of divorce in families due to alcohol consumption. So how does this contribute to divorce?
Yes, it plays a major role to divorce. Human being, anyone, everybody is born, and the desire of every human being is peace.
Yeah.
The desire of any human being is an environment of harmony. Any human being, you desire to have a conducive environment where you can express yourself and you can become who God created you to become. So in an abusive environment where drugs is abused, you can never, and the probability of you acquiring that peace, acquiring that harmony, acquiring that stability, the chances are slim. And because they are slim, most and any other person will try to find a solution to it. And in search of solutions, that's where separation and divorce takes place. For instance, if the environment is abusive, emotionally, physically, and mentally, it means the recipient is not enjoying the environment. So the best thing is to search for a space where you can enjoy those benefits of peace. And the only way is to step out of that marriage, step out of that union. We have the products of that marriage, which are our children. Any good parent from either gender will also want to secure a good environment of those children to grow up. So most of them depending with who is the abuser, will be looking for a space where it can create a conducive environment for those children. So stepping out of marriage becomes the only option to get an environment where those children can mature and grow and enjoy their space of growth and become what God wanted them to be. So basically what we are saying, abuse of drugs is a major contributor to divorce. Even when it comes to resources, because of negligence of that family, negligence and of provision, negligence of taking the resources within the family to sustain that acquired new lifestyle or the new behavior will affect the family. So if there's a husband who is providing and the resources left to the wife, all of it goes to drinking or to other substance abuse, then you'll be uncomfortable to keep sustaining that act. If it's a man, if it's a woman who is working hard and the husband is the one who is now taking all that resources, a huge portion of it to sustain his behavior, or either spouse who is employed but has that behavior, there is nothing is bringing on table to add to that which has been provided, then that support system is dysfunctioning. So the best way is to step aside and acquire a new environment. Now, that process of trying to step aside and acquire a new process, that's where divorce will occur, that's where separation will take place, that's where the unions and the marriage are destroyed. So drugs has a major role in affecting and destroying marriage and family.
All right. So we don't want relationships or even marriage to get to that point where divorce now comes in. So as a bishop, of course, as a life coach, what is one word that you will tell people so that we can reduce consumption of alcohol in a family to ensure that we're living in harmony, just as our show suggests that we want to live in harmony and harmonious family. So give them one word.
Don't take alcohol.
Okay.
Don't take alcohol. No other word. Don't drink.
Don't take alcohol. Okay.
Don't take alcohol. Don't take drugs.
Okay.
Because once that door has been opened, then the next thing is abuse. And the next things are the effects of the abuse. So don't open that door.
Okay.
So,
but people say that I just want to try a little today, like I'll maintain.
Now that is the beginning.
Okay.
That's the beginning of the journey to destruction.
Okay.
That's the beginning to the journey towards destruction. So don't open that door. Close it. And you're going to live in a peaceful, and you're going to enjoy your life, you're going to enjoy your marriage, you're going to enjoy resources that God has blessed you with. Those resources will work for you, not to destroy you. They will build your family, not to destroy the family. They will create a peaceful and harmonious marriage, not destructive. But if you open that door, the blessings that God has given you will not only destroy you, but will kill your family.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. There you have it. Now the one word is don't open the door of taking alcohol, because at the end of the day, that is the beginning of destruction in a family.
Very true.
Yeah, and of course we don't want divorce cases in our country. They have been so rampant, and by the help of Bishop here, I know that we are going to learn one or two or three things on matters, effects of alcoholism, and how we can curb alcoholism or even stop consuming alcohol for the sake of our families, right?
Very true.
All right, that is what we had today for Harmonious Family. But before we go, we have a book here known as Harmony. The author is a very own Bishop Gitonga. Where can we get this book, Bishop?
In bookshops.
In bookshops.
Yes.
All right.
And if you can't get in the bookshop, just get in touch with the host of the program.
Okay.
And we will be able to deliver to you.
All right.
Yes.
There we have it. It's at DGTV Kenya. In case you want to inquire about this amazing book known as Harmony, drop in your suggestion or even your comment on our social media handles. It is at DGTV Kenya on Facebook, Instagram, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Till next time, this has been Alice Wanjera, and this is Harmonious Family, together with our very own coach, Bishop James Gitonga.
God bless.
Career success is brought up by a training that goes beyond the academics, training that prepares you for the marketplace and as a job creator. And here at Uzuri Institute, we train you to be a job-ready professional. Over the years, we've done research to identify what works in the job market and what doesn't. And with our team of qualified trainers, we continue to produce graduates who are